everyone, Violet here, and we're on to part 3 of hauling all of my books, or showing off all the books I got in August. And we're going to do the category ones today. Yay! Okay, so let's start with the non-historicals. There are not many of them. We have Heather Graham's The Keepers. This is part of Harlequin Nocturne. I don't own many of these, if any, actually. So this was their paranormal line. It was a silhouette line, also called Nocturne, but then Harlequin bought Nocturne. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, we have The Thrilling World. Heather Graham introduces the thrilling world of the MacDonald sisters. Born into a legacy, they balance the fate of the world and the passion that might force them to risk it all. At the core of New Orleans lie the otherworldly vampires and shapeshifters that hide in plain sight among mankind. As one of the keepers, an elite group possessing superior skill and strength, Fiona MacDonald's duty is to maintain peace in a place where one vampire's bite could ignite war. When Detective Jagger Defarge, a vampire, is called in at the discovery of a body drained of blood, both the detective and Fiona must join uneasy forces. Jagger will stop at nothing to find the murderer, including working with the sensual and suspicious Fiona. As more die, it becomes clear that this isn't the work of an ordinary vampire. No one is safe. So when the killer's attention turns to Fiona, will Jagger risk destroying his own species to protect the woman he so passionately desires? And this is the first book of The Keepers, 3 extraordinary sisters balancing the duties of their birthrights and the yearnings of their hearts. Wow, this has like a real kind of urban fantasy plot. Also sounds a little romantic suspensey, so sounds fun. Okay, so we're into 3 very fun books. I had the absolute privilege of being able to do a book swap with Sock Marionette. And we did a live stream where we unboxed these. I'll put that in the description. But I got a couple books from her, or 3 books actually. And so the first 2 are Harlequin Presents. We have Anne Weale's Passage to Paxos, which I love the drama of this. It's very fun. Okay, so his kisses erased the horrible past. Valissa lost herself in her work after her fiancé's tragic death. When she finally allowed herself a holiday, she intended to spend it quietly and alone on a Greek island. But fate had other things in store. A storm at sea, a broken engine on her rented caïque? I have no idea what this word is. And a handsome sailor to rescue her. Dion Stephanides made Valissa forget everything but him and their newfound love until he proposed. How could a sensible girl marry a man with a footloose lifestyle and no visible source of income? I'm gonna call it he's a billionaire, or at least a millionaire. This is too old probably for billionaires, but he's filthy rich. I feel it. And then we've got Sophie Weston's Shadow Princess. Had she learned to be too cautious? Katya Andreev knew how disappointed her aristocratic grandparents were. What with cousin Vonnie spinning from one tragic affair to another, and Katya, a teacher in Paris, showing no signs of falling in love at all. Until Mac Saracen, brilliant concert pianist, came along. I thought I would never want to know another Andreev in my life, he said strangely upon meeting her. And I may be a fool, but I think I've changed my mind. He changed Katya's mind, too, as he proceeded to make her feel alive, almost reckless for the first time in her life. So I assume she's Russian, which is fun. Of course, I know Katya the drag queen, but I don't think she's a drag queen in this book. Okay, and the last one that Sock gave me was To Touch the Sun by Barbara Leigh, which does have a fun wraparound. Okay. Beloved captive, to be a knight, chivalrous in deed and courageous in battle, was all that Drew had ever wished for. Dubbed Sir Drew, she had sworn to serve her king and seek revenge against her enemy, Connaught. She had vowed to slay the treacherous knight, yet one look into the depths of his fire-blue eyes and she knew she could never kill him. Though she had captured him fairly on the field of battle, it was Drew who was completely in his power, and she shuddered to think what the proud Connaught would do when he discovered that the lad who had defeated him was nothing more than a woman. So, Sock said this, like, that this character, the lead character Drew, might be like what we would call non-binary now. So I'm very intrigued to read this book. Okay, so now that we're through gifts, let's get through Harlequin historicals that came out this month, September 2025. We have 4 Regencies and 1 medieval. So, first up we have The Lady Who Said No to the Duke by Louise Allen. Born to be a duchess, determined to defy the Duke. Lady Thea Campion is aghast to discover that her hand in marriage has been promised to the Duke of Leamington since she was in the cradle. Now, with the prospect of their convenient wedding becoming far too real, Thea is adamant she won't marry a man she's never even met. What's more, there is a gentleman that she would much rather marry, her new friend, Hal Forrest. So imagine her shock when she discovers that he is the Duke. Betrayed and deceived, can Thea ever say yes to his proposal? Rude. So rude. How dare you? Next we have His Cinderella Duchess by Tina Gabrielle. I really like her dress. I think it's so pretty. An unconventional promotion from governess to duchess. Brett Ainsley, Duke of Ravenwood, knows his ward needs a mother figure, but finding a love match is out of the question as his experiences at Waterloo left him scarred and mistrustful. Yet when the sunny new governess arrives dripping wet at his estate, he can't stop thinking about her. Destitute Lena Harper needs this governess job, even if it means tolerating her grumpy new employer, who she discovers is looking for a convenient wife. When Lena proposes a paper marriage, she's surprised at her own boldness. What's even more shocking is the Duke's answer. So we have a marriage of convenience, which I do tend to really like. We've got One Forbidden Kiss with the Laird by Laura Martin. This guy looks like Brian David Gilbert. I'm gonna put a picture up of him with a beard, and you see it, right? Can the Laird's desire triumph over duty? Marrying Sir William's daughter is the only way Laird Callum can regain his ancestral Highland home and protect the estate's tenants. But when Callum calls upon his intended, he's struck by a lightning bolt in the form of Selina, Sir William's other illegitimate unwanted daughter. After her hopes of forging a relationship with her estranged father are dashed, Selina longs to return to London. Yet she's thrown into Callum's magnetic company at every turn. She must forget him. It's her half-sister he needs, but their desire is not so easily put aside. So this is part of the Cinderella Shepherd Sisters, which is One Waltz with the Viscount. I think I got that in an earlier month. Next, we have The Prince's Wallflower Wife by Emily E.K. Murdoch. She also writes books for Dragon Blade as well. We've got Promised to One Brother, Destined for Another. We have 2 that are like, I'm supposed to get with your sibling, but I want you. When Prince Kristoff discovers that his nefarious brother is planning to wed Wallflower Daphne, he steps in as the groom. He will do anything to keep his sister safe, and Daphne's wealth can provide his sister a new life out of his brother's reach. But before long, Kristoff discovers that his convenient wife's shy temperament hides a resilient heart that is as enchanting as her beauty. As their attraction escalates, Kristoff is torn. He can't keep lying, but will Daphne be able to trust him if he admits the truth about their union? So I guess he is pretending he's his brother? I guess? But like after they're married, does it matter? So this is part of the Wallflower Academy series. And this is the latest one in it. The Duchess Charade, More Than a Match for the Earl, Least Likely to Win a Duke, are the other ones. And finally, our medieval. We have The Highlander's Mysterious Maiden by Nicole Locke. I really like this one. I love her dress on it. So cute. A defiant Highland lass to awaken the brooding warrior. Oh no. Oh no. We're already off to a word I don't know. S-E-O-C. Sock of Clan Graham knows his... Oh, that's his name. Okay. Cool. Siak of Clan Graham knows his scars run deep. How else to explain the emptiness he's felt inside since the battle that almost killed him? Nothing and no one has interested him until the arrival of a beautiful and intriguing strangers on Beltane night. Barabal has spent her life moving from clan to clan, always seeking but never finding a place to belong. Yet the Graham clan, and Gruff Siak in particular, call to her. Still, she's been abandoned before and is wary of drawing Siak close, unless he can prove he won't abandon her too. Interesting. Wonder why she's like always moving around and stuff. But I want to get to more medievals. I really like the ones I've read so far, so excited to get to this one. Alright, now we're on to older historicals that I've grabbed. We have My Fair Concubine by Jeannie Lin. This came out in 2012. Set in the Tang Dynasty. The nobleman who turned a tea girl into a princess. Yan Ling tries hard to be servile. It's what's expected of a girl of her class. Being intelligent and strong-minded, she finds it a constant battle. Proud Fei Long is unimpressed by her spirit until he realizes she's the answer to his problems. He has to deliver the emperor a princess. In 2 months, can he train a tea girl to pass as a noblewoman? Yet it's hard to teach good etiquette when all Fei Long wants to do is break it by taking this tea girl for his own. Oh, so this is like an Anastasia situation. Very exciting. I love the 1950s Anastasia with Ingrid Bergman and Yul Brynner. Oh my god, love it so much. It's so good. Okay, we've got The Elusive Bride by Deborah Hale. My biggest boo on this one is that I assume there might be a version with the step back, but I have a fake one. On the side here, it looks like we might have a John DeSalvo picture somewhere in there. So I guess they shot for it but didn't put it in here. Rude. Very rude. Okay. This is medieval too. Marriage meant safety. To protect her home and people, Cicely Tyrell would marry the devil himself. And if rumor held any truth, she would mayhap do so. A royal command bound her to wed Lord Rowan de Courtenay, a knight of some renown, but a widower of shadowed repute. Still, he was the warrior she needed, but was he the man she wanted? Headstrong, valiant, and dangerous she was, for Cicely Tyrell alone made Rowan de Courtenay yearn to dismiss the guard around the citadel of his heart. Though would their love, born in disguise and adventure, survive when all his soul's dark secrets were finally exposed? Okay, that sounds fun. I'm into it. We've got, I think this is another, no, this is definitely medieval. This is A Warrior's Honor by Margaret Moore. Look at the chainmail happening here. Oh, the mullet, beautiful, gorgeous. Oh, and we've got a wraparound on this one. So she's got a very pretty dress on here. Very nice. Incredible line. Abduction was but a prelude to marriage, as you do. Or so Bryce had been led to believe when he'd kidnapped the Lady Rhiannon to be his liege lord's mate, though never had he seen a more reluctant bride. How could he, in all chivalry, allow such a spirited beauty to be bound to a man she did not want? Unseemly behavior had landed Rhiannon de Lania in an isolated keep, a prisoner of one man's revenge and prey to another man's ardor. But could she trust Bryce, oh lord, Frechette? The Norman knight who thrust her heart into a melee of desire. This sounds very cute. It's like, but you don't want to marry him. I have to do something. And then we've got A Warrior's Passion. I think this is actually part of the same series, though I'm not sure if they're really connected or not. Okay, A Man of Power, Patience, and Passion. Power. Oh no, God, medieval names are rough. Griffith Delania. Okay, Delania as well. So yes, this is all the same series. When Griffith Delania departed his ship in Dunlock, he thought his stay would last no more than a fortnight. Unbeknownst to Griffith, Diarmand McMurdoch, the man he had come to see, was not merely interested in a trade alliance. Patience. Griffith always believed that good things came to those who waited, but the Welshman had never wanted anything as badly as he wanted Diarmand's daughter, Siona. Passion. Whether in battle or in love, Griffith preferred to guard his feelings carefully, but the day would come when Siona would be his wife. Oh, I didn't say this. This has a wraparound as well. So this is like the first bit, and then we've got more of the dress on the back. Okay, that sounds fun. I'm into it. Then we've got Fool's Paradise by Tori Phillips. This is just such a unique cover, I feel. I don't think I've seen much like this in Harlequin Historical, so I'm curious if this was like a part of a line or something like that. And I think this might also be medieval. 'Twas no laughing matter. When fleeing an odious arranged match, the Lady Elizabeth Hayward found herself under the protection of famed court jester Richard Tarleton. But even disguised as the fool boy's apprentice, there was no hiding the fact that she'd fallen hopelessly in love. Though Tarleton's ready wit had won him royal favor, his tongue was tied in the presence of the sweet-voiced Elizabeth, at least about things that truly mattered. How could he offer the Queen's own goddaughter a gift so lowly as his own foolish heart? This sounds really cute. Yes, this sounds super cute. Okay, we've got two more Harlequin Historicals. These are definitely part of the same series. These are set in the Restoration period, which is cool. I don't know any others that are Restoration. At least don't have that marked on the side here. But this is part of the City of Flame series. It is The Defiant Mistress by Claire Thornton. And it doesn't really have a wraparound, so... A Time for Revenge. For 8 years, Gabriel Vaughan, Marquis of Halros, has believed he was duped by a clever, money-grabbing harlot. He has tried to forget the beauty who left him at the altar, and then an accidental meeting in Venice places her entirely at his mercy. Although Athena Frances Fairchild claims to be innocent, maybe this is just another of her deceptions. It's time to exact a little revenge. So when Athena needs a safe passage back to England, Gabriel sees his chance. Years ago, he would have been proud to have Athena accompany him as his wife. Now Gabriel will insist she travel as his mistress. Da-da. So he's real salty, huh? Okay. And then we've got The Vagabond Duchess, which I like this cover a lot. It's very fun. Like all the people in the background. It's really uncommon for Harlequin Historicals. Okay. He'd promised to return, but Jack Bow is dead, and Temperance Challoner's quietly respectable life is changed forever. Practical Temperance has no time to grieve for the irresistible rogue who gave her one night of comfort in a blazing city. She must protect her unborn child by pretending to be Jack's widow. A foolproof plan, until she arrives at Jack's home, and the counterfeit widow of a vagabond becomes the real wife of a very much alive duke. Whoops! See, this is why you gotta stop having one-night stands, bros. Gonna end up with, like, heirs and stuff. Okay, so that's it for Harlequin Historicals. I have a few other historicals. I have one that is Heartsong Presents. This is like an inspirational line by Kathy Marie Hake. It is Redeemed Hearts. Ooh, that is so bright. We're gonna back it up. Okay. Not really no, there's no change on this one. Okay, Forced to Leave Home. When famine ravages Ireland, Bridget Murphy and her family are forced to move to America. There, Bridget becomes a maid in the Newcomb home, where the mistress of the house, Emily Newcomb, is determined to marry off her brother, Duncan. When Duncan, a ship's captain, discovers he's fallen in love with the maid, he plans to tell her his feelings and make her his wife. But when some things come up missing from the Newcomb house, Bridget becomes the chief suspect. Will Duncan obey his sister's orders and rid the household of Bridget's presence, or will the captain's heart determine his next course? So, Kathy Marie Hake was actually the first adult romance author I ever read. I read a book of hers called That Certain Spark, and I loved it, and then I proceeded to read a ton of her other stuff. I don't think I ever read this one, though, but I'm excited to see if I have. I don't know. Okay, and finally, our smaller but good collection of signets. So, we've got A Stroke of Luck by Andrea Pickens. I really like this cover. I think it's very cute. I love her dress. Okay, Going Overboard. The intrepid Miss Greeley, heading home from adventures on the high seas with her two brothers, is not quite sure what to make of this handsome, if waterlogged stranger. Confused and shivering aboard her leaky vessel, he claims to be the Duke of Prestwick, and if it were not for his refined language, superior airs, and general crankiness, the three Greeleys might well think him an impostor. In fact, Zara Greeley wonders whether she ever would have risked her life to pluck this disdainful duke from the icy waters and certain death. But even as the motley crew bids each other their final goodbyes, and good riddance, on solid ground, fate is still plodding away. Now it's the lass's turn to find herself in strange waters, on a ducal estate, and when an ember of passion flares up between the odd pair, it might be time once again to take the plunge. Oh, this sounds fun. This sounds super cute. Yeah, very excited to read this one. And then we've got Eileen Putman's Reforming Harriet, which is like kind of a darker cover, almost gothic looking with like the mirror in the back and stuff. I love all the detail on it. It's very, very pretty. Okay, taking a lady in hand. Lady Harriet Worthington was unconventional, from her flour-dusted nose to her pretty toes. She ran a mill, a bakery, a household, and her own life. Unfashionably independent, she was a young merry widow who swore to never wed again. And Elias Westwood, partner with her late husband in an East Indies company, was at his wit's end. Lady Harriet had been selling off shares of his business until he was nearly ruined. Now he had to act. If she wouldn't listen to reason, he had only one option: seduction! First, Elias tasted her pies. Then he sampled her cakes. Then he devoured her lips. He never expected her to kiss him back. Really? Isn't that a key part of seduction? Anyway. Never expected her to kiss him back. Having tasted heaven, Elias thought his quest would be simple. Instead, Lady Harriet devised an outrageous plan all her own. She said she needed to explore his dizzying effect on her in order to best arm herself against the wiles of men. Elias was stunned, then scheming. He wanted to reform Harriet and teach her a lesson. He never planned on falling in love. They never do they? This sounds fun. I like that she's like a baker and has flour on her nose and stuff. That's very cute. And finally, we have an anthology, which is a Regency Christmas Carol with Mary Belloc, Anne Barber, Elizabeth Fairchild, Carla Kelly, and Edith Layton. So we got a fiver in this one. So I don't have blurbs for all of these, I don't think. Oh, I do. Okay, here we go. So we got the Mary Belloc is called The Bond Street Carolers. A London street choir brings together a nobleman who dislikes Christmas with a pretty widow who can melt his icy heart. We've got Melody by Anne Barber. An American finds himself in an English village where a singer with the voice of an angel helps him find not only his tie with the past, but a future filled with love. We have Yuletide Bells by Elizabeth Fairchild. The celebration of the Yuletide season helps a grieving governess to discover that Christmas can bring new hopes, new dreams, and perhaps even a new love. Make a Joyful Noise by Carla Kelly. In this joyful tale, a widower discovers an enchanting surprise in the Christmas choir, a mysterious Welsh lady. And finally, Edith Layton has The Earl's Nightingale. A lovely heroine pawns a music box and begins an odyssey that takes her to a handsome earl's parlor and into his heart. So the back says, "Hark the herald angels sing as 5 of Signet's favorite Regency authors bring you a melodious collection of stories to make the season even brighter. Lush with the magic of the holiday, the stories in this Christmas Regency collection capture the true spirit of this special time of year, the giving and receiving of love. This exquisite treasury will warm you with Yuletide cheer and makes the perfect gift for you or your loved ones. Please buy this book." So this is part of the Super Regency, which is just like bigger Signet Regencies. Belloc has a couple of these. I assume other people do too, but this is like I guess I put the anthologies in this line. So that's really fun. So yeah, that is all of the categories. So we have finally reached the end of the book haul. Yay! And I'm looking at my cart and I have more. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I don't have a problem. I have a problem. But yeah, that is everything for this week. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye!